this one is, let's see if we're radar indicated here as well. This one lasts until 4:15, just like the one in parts of Pike County. That one is also radar indicated. And what we have is the potential there for not just a tornado, but some large hail as well. It's moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. So these storms are moving really, really fast. Let's get out here and get some radar look on this one. This is the one that is going to include South Salem and Frankfort. Bainbridge will be in there as well. And you can see that it's out here near 62. And that is coming this direction. So you're going to find the western end of Ross County involved with this, and some very, very heavy rain, the potential for some strong wind gusts and hail as this moves from 62 headed over toward parts of Ross County. So we have 3 tornado warnings in effect right now. There is one in Pike County, so that's this one headed up toward Waverly and Piketon. You've got another one in Ross County, also until 4:15. This one is going to at least involve South Salem, Frankfort, getting into potentially Bainbridge as well. Not quite into Chillicothe yet. And then you've also got this one up here in Madison County that is also tracking toward the northeast. Right now, it does not include Franklin County, but may in a little while. Our Stacia Niken is with us right now. Stacia?
Well, Marshall, I was just going to ask, when we're talking about for families who maybe are not in the warning areas, we're all in the watch area. We knew that was going to be a factor today. This is a really important time to make sure your plan is in place in case this affects your neighborhood.
Absolutely. And let's get out to this map again. Here's what we're looking at. Everything that's in yellow, and so this is going to be north of Columbus all the way down to the Ohio River. Everything in yellow is the tornado watch, and that is in effect until at least 6 o'clock this evening. So these storms are moving east very quickly at about 40 to 60 miles per hour, averaging 50. And they will race through the metro area in about the next 45 minutes or so. By 6 o'clock, a lot of this is going to be east of Columbus, but even out here in Licking County and Fairfield County, you're still looking at this tornado watch, and a watch means conditions are favorable until at least 6 o'clock. What's the difference? So a watch means you have all the ingredients. You may have seen on the internet some of these going around where they say, these are all the ingredients for my cookies. That's the cookie watch. But when you actually put the cookies together, now we have a cookie warning. So that's kind of what's happening here. We have the watch where the conditions are favorable. We have all the right ingredients for these storms to develop. And then we have the warnings, and those are the red areas there. So that is where you have the actual finished product potentially happening. So when you see the rotation on radar, that's when the National Weather Service will begin issuing the tornado warnings for those areas. So right now, we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for some areas, but a lot of the area has the tornado watch, meaning watch for those ingredients to come together. Southern Madison County in effect for another about 5 minutes or so. Then you've got this one and this one, so parts of Pike County and Ross counties, a little bit of Fayette County there, until at least 4:15 as these storms continue to move through the area. What should you do? Well, the important part right now is to be very smart about it and to be in your safe space. This is one of those things that we all prepare for. You have a plan at your house. You know where you're going to go. You know where your safe space is. You've planned that out already. This is the time to go there and to make sure that you and your pets are safe right now. Stacia.
Well, I was going to point out that there may be some kids out there who are waiting for mom or dad to come home, or whoever cares for them. If any kids that are home after school and this is going on, if you are concerned, the easiest way to remember is duck downstairs, underneath something, center part of the house. Keep away from windows. That's what we learned in Oklahoma back in the day. So if you are a kiddo home alone, if you're a grown-up and you are home right now, those are the pieces of advice that can really keep you safe if you are under one of these tornado warnings.
And that's part of the reason why it's important for us to have a plan ahead of time. So hopefully, if you've been through a tornado watch or a tornado drill at school, They've probably talked to you about where the safe places are to go at school. You can do the same thing at home. You want to go as far inside as you can, away from the windows, and you want to be as low as you can be. So if you're in an apartment, maybe there's a laundry room downstairs, or if there's a basement, that could be a good place to go. If you don't have a basement, sometimes a bathroom that's just as far inside as you can go, or maybe even a closet. There can be enough walls between you and the outside that you'll be much safer there. So the important part is we want you to be safe, and you can do that just by making sure you're being careful with where you are. Southern parts of south of London, southern part of Madison County, that's where the tornado warning is there for now. A lot of this storm appears to, at least in parts, be weakening. Tell me what we're looking at up there, Danielle. All right, so this is mobile track headed toward West Jeff. So you can see the very wet roads up there. Did they just do that for Franklin County? Did they just move that in? We have some alarms going off here in the studio at the moment. Yep, and we've now extended this into Franklin County. So what's happening is they have now extended the tornado. Got it? We've extended the tornado warning into Franklin County, and this is because the storm that is showing rotation has the potential to develop a tornado. Bob has a question.
What if you're in a mobile home right now?
So if you are in a mobile home, one of the most important things to do is get out of that mobile home. Down here in the southwestern portions of Franklin County, there are a lot of mobile home parks. You can find a safe spot in a sturdy brick building. Any place that is sturdy is going to be a better place than being in a mobile home right now. But right now, this tornado warning does include Franklin County, and this is going to last until 4:30 this afternoon. So they have expanded this now to go from parts of Madison County on up into Franklin County. The storm is holding together just enough to do that. Bob?
Looks like the Franklin County one is till 4:30 now as well.
Have they just extended that again? So let's look at this on a different map. Here we go. Let's get in on this real tight. There we are. There's the Franklin County storm, as well as what's happening in parts of Madison County. And that is 4:30 there. And what's out in Madison County is going to be for the next 45 seconds or so. They may allow that to expire. So strong storms are moving into Franklin County as we speak. Here's one of the important things about all of this. You don't need to panic. Everything's going to be fine. We just have to be smart about this. And your safe space is going to be the right place to be. So especially right now, we don't need to see pictures on social media. We just need for you to go to your safe space. That's going to be the most important thing that you can do right now. So if you have a basement, that's a great place to go, and go to the farthest center you can. Get all the way into the middle. Under some stairs often provides at least some support there. And then if you can get away from windows, that's also important. If you don't have a basement, then you still want to follow the same rules. Stacia was talking a little bit ago about duck, D-U-C-K. You want to get down, so as low as you can get, whether that means on your own floor or even farther down into a basement, or at least the first floor. You want to get under something, so that's also why a basement is often helpful. If there's a big sturdy table that you can be under, or like I said, under those stairs, that's good. You want to cover if you can. C is for cover, and that means if you can have that table over you, or maybe you've got we don't often grab a mattress and take it into your safe space, but sometimes you can even throw that over you. And you want to keep in place. That's the K. Keep in place. Stay there until the warning is over. Right now, this tornado warning is at least scheduled to last until 4:30 for Franklin County, and that does include the WSYX studios and downtown Columbus. So a lot of the area is going to be included in this. Now, let's get some of the funky colors on the map here so that you can see what we have going on. And that edge back there. All right. So a little bit of missing data right there, but right on the back edge of Franklin County. So this little spot right here, not showing up full on green. So what we're looking at mostly here is things moving away from the radar. The red means it's moving away from the radar, and there comes the beam. The radar is down that direction. So everything red is moving to the northeast and away from the radar, right there. So now we've got our little green spot, and this is going to be a very significant portion to watch, and we're going to get tight on that right there, because what we have is the very tail end of this storm. And on the backside of a storm like this, when you begin to see toward and away, we have some rotation happening in the storm. And so that's what we're going to watch. Now let's look at where we are here, because some of this may be difficult to see. So this is 665. You're just south of 665. So Darbydale Elementary is there. Lambert Road is there as well. So this is a storm moving this direction. It's going to cross over 665 and then come across Lambert. You can see 62 out there on the edge too. So this is all coming this direction, headed in the direction of Grove City at the moment. So this is potential rotation, and we need to keep an eye on that to be sure. But that is part of the reason why there is a tornado warning in effect for parts of southwestern Franklin County right now, at least through 4:30 this afternoon. You can see a little bit of thunder. Some of the lightning signatures are pretty small there, but what we do have is the potential for some rotation just south of 665. This storm just trying to wrap around that a little bit, creating a little bit of a hook there. It's not very distinct, but it's there, and all of this moving off to the northeast. So anybody that's along 662, including downtown Grove City, you're going to want to make sure that you're prepared for that. This is 71 at 665. Looks like we've at the very least, the roads are very wet. You've probably got some ponding happening there. Sky looking a bit ominous as well. But in the Grove City area, now is the time to get to that safe space. We don't want to forget about what else is happening here in central Ohio, because we are not the only ones with tornado warnings right now. You can see in the Columbus area, we've got the red spot there. So this is the tornado warning in Franklin County. We still have the tornado warning as well down here that covers parts of Fayette and Ross counties. The tornado warning that was in effect down here in Pike County, you notice, has been allowed to expire. That one has been canceled, so not showing the signs of rotation right now that it did earlier, but still storms rolling through there. Let's look at the Ross County storm real quick so that you know where this is headed in your area. I'm going to zoom out a little bit there and get back down on it. But what we have is this line of thunderstorms that has the potential to produce the spin up of a tornado, and that's why the National Weather Service has issued the warnings on this. We're going to take that out. There we go. Now you can see it a little bit better. So what you have, potential for a little bit of rotation happening right there, and that is also going to be just to the west of the Ross County line. That one is also headed to the northeast. You've got some very heavy rain in South Salem right now, and we're going to put the weird colors on it just to double check what's happening there. Well, I'll tell you, the warnings are coming in fast and furious right now. We're getting some very heavy rain here at the station. All right, brand new tornado warning now. This one is going to be for parts of Pickaway County and for southern Franklin County. This one also until 4:30 this afternoon. These are moving at 50 miles per hour. So it's really moving fast as it comes through the area. So again, once these storms go through, there are some showers on the other side, but most of the storms will come to an end. Let's get down and take a look at what we have happening here in parts of southern Franklin County and Pickaway counties, so we get that idea of what's going on. Bob.
Licking and Fairfield County are there in the bullseye right now, it would seem.
They would be next.
Yes.
They would be next. So what he's talking about, here's Fairfield County, Licking County just up here. They'll be next if these storms are able to hold together. For now, it's right on the edge, and it's just to the edge of Pickaway County. If it's into Fairfield County, it's just barely there. But yes, Licking County and Fairfield counties will be next with these storms coming through. So here we are. Let's get into another look at where the actual storms are. And we're going to pull part of this out. There we go. Now you've got a better shot at it. So in Grove City right now, you can see the exceedingly heavy rain that's happening there. And taking a look down here in Pickaway County, and I suspect this is why the warning is there now. Ooh, okay. Yeah, you can see on just west of Darbydale, right out here, 316. There's that, what looks to be trying to form a hook right there on that part of the storm. So north of 316 and headed off to the northeast. That is going to push it out here almost to 23 in the next 30 minutes or so. But we'll put the velocity reading on that and see where we are as well. So that's another one that worth keeping an eye on. You notice right where that hook was, we do have this little bit right here. It hasn't quite turned green, but it's at least giving us a little bit of a hint that north of 316, not far from Darbydale, you may have the potential for some rotation there. Stacia.
Marshall, when you were talking about the speed these storms are moving with, does that indicate anything about the formation of what you're seeing on radar?
So part of it, yes. So part of what's happening is these storms themselves are moving very quickly, which brings lots and lots of air up into the storm. You've got a front moving through the area, pushing like a bulldozer, pushing that air up. And as it comes through, what happens is we start to get that very strong updraft, and that can create some of these very strong storms. Sorry, I keep hearing sirens here. We have alarms that go off. I'm going to check this other map again real quick just to make sure that we know where we are in the situation here. So they have pared back what's in Madison County. That's been allowed to expire right around 4 o'clock. Now we still have these two systems, these two warnings for parts of Franklin County as well as the one in Ross County. Bob.
Yeah, well, we've got somebody in Ross County right now, actually, Marshal Lisa Rodla on the phone with us right now. Lisa, what are you seeing down there, and where are you?
Hi, guys. We just pulled off into a parking lot along Main Street in Chillicothe. I can tell you we've been here all day shooting a story that will air at a later time. It's been off and on rain, but when I knew when I saw my work email that tornado warnings were going off, I knew we'd be cutting into coverage. I was listening to Marshall. I saw that Ross County was under a tornado warning, and boom, that is when I saw the dark clouds. They start rolling through. I tried to take some video, take some pictures. The dark clouds are here, a little bit of precipitation, a little bit of rain, but the wind is starting to pick up a little bit. But yeah, the dark clouds are definitely here. I took some video. I heard the sirens go off probably within the last 10 minutes. Tried to take a little bit of video of that, posted it to Twitter. Right now, I mean, everybody's out and about. Everybody's kind of leaving for the workday, right? So they're heading home. So the traffic is definitely there on the streets right now. But yeah, it is. We are just kind of sitting, waiting to see what the weather is going to do. You do see the trees blowing in the wind. You see the flags, blowing just a little bit stronger. But it is just dark, dark, dark once you look up at the sky.
Reporting tonight from Main Street in Chillicothe. Where is the storm in relation to her, Marshall?
So right now, that storm, and I'll bring up a different picture right now. So this is parts of Ross County right here. So what you see, this is Chillicothe. This is where Lisa is. She's looking to the west, and she's seeing all of this out here in South Salem and Frankfort with some very, very heavy rain, the potential for some large hail, and can't rule out the possibility of a tornado spinning up in that as well. So for now, this is a storm that does have a history of some at least minor rotation. I'm going to check some extra. Here we go. Quarter-sized hail is possible with this storm. And so Frankfort, South Salem, on over to East Monroe, Rock Mills, all of it has the potential for seeing some of this very strong weather moving off to the northeast. Again, these are moving at 40 to 50 miles per hour. We were talking about this just a second ago. As these move through, think of being in your car. You're going highway speeds, and you throw a baseball in front of your car. So that baseball is going to go even faster than your car because you gave it the energy to do that. Part of what happens with these storms is the storm has an outflow in front of it. So it's actually moving at 50 miles an hour and pushing some air ahead of it as well, just like that baseball. So that means the air ahead of the storm can go even faster, and we can end up with the potential of some really gusty winds that can cause some significant issues. All right, let me take a little bit of a wider view here and show you what we really have going on around the region. So here's Franklin County. And you notice that the very heavy rain that's coming through Franklin County right now, we can hear it on our rooftop, is part of the same storm that includes this tornado warning that lasts until at least 4:30 today. Here's that wider view. Say that again, Danielle. Kate Seifert is on the phone right now. Kate, where are you? What are you seeing?
Hey, Marshall. Yeah, we're actually heading west on 70 right now. And I posted a video on Twitter. I think our producer Danielle is able to pull it up so you can take a look at what we were seeing. Lots of traffic on the road when we first left the station. Like Lisa Rantala mentioned, people still out and about, maybe leaving work, heading home. Rain was coming down pretty good when we left. Once again, we were heading west on 70. And that was just as we started to hear those tornado sirens and got that alert that probably all of us got on our phone about the tornado warning in Franklin County. Just within the last probably 3 or 4 minutes, we crossed into Madison County, and actually the sky in front of me, the sun is coming out. It's much, much brighter as we head west, but if I look in our rear view mirror, very, very dark clouds. The roads pretty wet, but people are still driving, unfortunately, like their normal speeds. We're kind of off in that far lane, kind of taking it slow just to be safe, but people are out on the roads and busy, roadways pretty wet, but as we're heading toward Madison, or in Madison, the sun's coming out, skies look a little bit brighter heading in this direction, Marshall.
Kate, if you look off to your west, you're seeing some sunshine, but can you see dark clouds again in the distance?
Out to the left, you said?
Out to your west?
Yeah, I do see dark clouds over out to the left, like far left, but really out, in front of me, and then it's really behind me, Marshall, is where those dark clouds are pretty significant.
So behind you, you're looking back toward Columbus, and that's where some of those really strong storms are. Kate's driving out here on 70 and is just getting beyond. Is it raining where you are right now, Kate?
It is raining, but it's actually just gotten a little bit slower, so it's more kind of like a misty drizzle versus that like heavy raindrops that we were dealing with right when we left the station about 20 minutes ago.
So you are out in what amounts to mid-Madison County, so you're going to go through a dry area. If you were getting into Springfield right now, you'd be running into another round of rain, and you can see what's happening out here in Urbana with some strong storms as well. But the strongest of it, thank you, Kate, the strongest of it is out here into downtown Columbus and is actually still under part of that tornado warning that lasts until at least 4:30 this afternoon. Looking at some hail down there on the south side, probably even a little bit of hail showing up right here near Cooper Stadium. So Mound Street down there, you may get a little of that hail showing up there, and then some of that moves into parts of Columbus as well. Stacia.
Marshall, when we were hearing Kate speak about the sun that she is seeing, that concerns me that that's going to increase the volatility of what we're seeing with these storms out there.
So here's what we'll keep our fingers crossed for, is that the storms that are coming through now are enough to sap enough of the energy that second line may not have much of a chance of getting started. But you're absolutely right. Adding some sunshine to this in between those two lines can actually re-energize those storms and give the second line a little bit more energy and then bring up that chance for some strong storms again. So this is a tornado warning that is in effect right now for parts of Franklin County. And that includes, you see downtown is right here, so right through this part of Franklin County, and then down to the south, we still have a good chance for some strong to severe storms right here. It includes Lockbourne and down into the northern parts of Pickaway County, so Commercial Point as part of that. Here's 23. All of this headed to the east at about 50 miles per hour. So Canal Winchester is in line for this as well. Let's put a little track on that, speaking of which, and just give you a real good idea of where some of these stronger storms are headed. Let's do it this way and go, let's say, from down here on the southwest side, headed up this direction. So in a sort of a broad view, Grandview Heights getting a lot of that rain right now. You've got more of that getting into Columbus, and Bexley is going to get that a little after 4:25, then still heading out to the east side. This right out here is where they're letting a lot of that begin to expire because there's some clearing happening out here in Madison County. We were talking about this next batch out in Springfield and Urbana. Some of that could manage to strengthen a little bit as it starts to get a little closer to the metro area. Here's a look at where the warnings are at the moment. Everything that's in yellow, and part of what they've done here, did you notice they've expanded the tornado watch? For a little while, it only went about as far as Licking and Muskingum counties. Now it's been expanded into eastern Ohio. We'll put a time on that. So what we have is for the first part of the tornado watch lasts until 6 o'clock in the evening. The part that they've expanded into eastern Ohio lasts until at least 7 o'clock. So this is all moving this direction. These are moving fast enough they can cross through a county in a matter of less than an hour. Think about it when you're on the road. If you're traveling at 55 miles per hour, you'll drive across a 30-mile county in less than half an hour, 45 minutes, depending on traffic. So these are moving at highway speeds on the way through. So they're going to be east of the metro area in the next 45 minutes or so and moving off to the east. And that's part of the reason why they've expanded the tornado watch now into the eastern parts of Ohio. Stacia.
So, Marshall, as we're talking about these warnings going off, and obviously you hear the sirens go, it's a super scary sound. We know a lot of folks have been hearing those over the last, hour, really and truly. But when do they know that it's safe to come out? What are they looking for? What are they listening for? What are they watching for?
The biggest thing that you're watching for is the end of the thunder. So we call it the 30-30 rule. You can actually wait until 30 minutes after you hear the last clap of thunder, and that's often when it's safe again to come out of the area. Our friend James Spann, who's at one of our sister stations, likes to say, respect the polygon. And the reason that he says that is you may not actually see some severe weather in your area at that very moment, but if you're included in this shape, this tornado watch shape, it's important for you to take the precautions and to be as safe as you can, because until the threat has finished and moved off to your east, you want to be in your safe spot. So the biggest thing is to listen to the tornado sirens. If the sirens are still going off, you still want to be in your safe space. And at least in Franklin County, the usual procedure is they will reactivate the sirens now and then to remind you that the tornado warnings are still in effect. Then, when those have stopped and you don't hear thunder anymore, it's probably safe to come on out and have a look around. For now, parts of Pickaway County and Franklin County are involved in tornado warnings, and the potential exists for tornadoes to spin up in the area right now. I'm going to go a little bit back out here toward the south and see where we are with this storm in Chillicothe. You see that it's just moving toward you again. And what we're seeing is they've let the warning apparently expire for parts of Ross County, but still some very heavy rain coming through the western parts of Ross County, moving to the northeast very quickly. Bob.
We've been pounded by rain here at the station, Marshall, and I understand Jess Ralston from Good Day Columbus is standing by on the phone. Are you at home, Jessica?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you guys hear me? Okay, so yeah, I'm in downtown Columbus on the 10th floor of my building. I did send in some video of when the sirens first started. I'm sure you can still hear them now. We're also a lot of fire and EMS sirens downtown as well. I've seen the Columbus Fire Department come by and a couple of ambulances as well. It's been some heavy siren activity as well. I can tell you seems to be dying down for a little bit here. Usually you see all the way to the west side of the city. That was a complete whiteout about minutes ago. That's clearing up a little bit, and I can see some of the buildings out there, and the rain has lightened up a bit too. But, a good reminder right now might be for Marcia to tell people that live in high-rises that don't really have a basement to go to, the best plan of action. I'm lucky to be in a building that has concrete ceilings and floors, but in my actual apartment, I have wraparound windows in every room. So it would be a case of me in the next few minutes here, if necessary, going into the concrete stairwell with the dogs and kind of hunkering down there. But I think a lot of people that might be at work right now could use a good reminder on what to do if you're in one of these taller buildings downtown.
Those windows, Jess, and get into the stairwell with the pooches as well. Thanks for checking in with us. We appreciate the view.
And we have that information right there about duck. Get down. You want to get downstairs as much as you can, underneath something, center part of the house, keep away from windows.
This is going to be an important thing to remember whether you're at work or at home. And as Jess mentioned, being in a stairwell can often be a good place to be because you're away from windows, usually. Stairwells often are interior to the building, and if you can get inside and away from windows, that's where you really want to be. Going to check this little piece of the storm down here near Grove City right now. You can see that there's some very heavy rain happening with that part of the storm, and we're going to put the goofy colors on it again just to see if we're seeing any rotation out of that. And the good news is it looks like some of that may all be moving in the same direction. So here's what we're looking at. It's red, which usually is kind of a scary thing. In this case, it's not so bad because what's happening is all of this is moving the same direction. It's not rotating. It's moving the same direction all away from the radar, and that's going to be very good news for us as far as the tornado warning goes. The same thing appears to be happening down here to the south where Pickaway County still has that tornado warning for the next few minutes, and that is also showing that everything is moving in the same direction there as well. Stacia.
Marshall, we just got some information from Columbus City Schools. Folks, if you at home have a Columbus City Schools student, we want you to know that the buses are being diverted to the nearest shelter. So kids coming from Columbus City Schools are going to be home late tonight because they are taking every precaution, and these buses are going to the shelters rather than going to the bus stops. So just keep that in mind tonight as everyone is waiting for everybody to get home. The buses are going to the nearest shelter to make sure everybody can stay safe.
Good idea. Marshall?
One of the things that's just happened, one of the alarms that we just had going off here in the Weather Center is all about this storm that's in Pickaway County. You notice that we saw in the velocity picture there a second ago that everything was moving in the same direction. Good news for that. It also means it's enough that they were able to pare back this warning. So now this one is only for the southeastern corner of Franklin County. The part that's in Pickaway County, they have actually canceled at this point. But there is still for this portion of the storm, this is a different tornado warning, but this is the one that goes all the way up into downtown Columbus. That one still in effect for at least another 5 minutes or so. This is a warning that does include most of central, southern, and southwestern Franklin County. But Pike County has now been taken out of that warning. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit and see where we are in a big picture here because we're still going to keep an eye on what's happening out here to the east. So headed to these storms in Columbus are headed to the northeast, 40 to 60 miles per hour. As those move to the northeast, if they continue on radar to show signs of rotation, you may see some of these tornado warnings extended beyond downtown Columbus on into the east side. For now, it will expire in the next few minutes in downtown Columbus. Stacia.
When we look at this view from our tower cam here, I mean, obviously, we know this is not a good day of weather. We look at this, but when we see these clouds and we see them moving, that doesn't necessarily mean we're looking at a tornado. And I feel like that's really important for people to remember that even if it looks like it's rotating, I mean, obviously we want you to be safe, but that doesn't necessarily indicate an actual tornado.
Very true. Now, if you see a funnel cloud, and that's a very distinctive shape, you won't be fooled that it's anything else. When you see some clouds hanging down from the other mass, and they're kind of turning a little bit, but they don't have a distinct shape, those are what we call scud clouds. And those are just hanging under the cumulus deck, and they're just kind of hanging in the air. They might even turn a little bit, but it's more of a broad rotation. If you see a funnel cloud, that's what it will look like, and it will be a very distinct shape, and you'll know that you're looking at a funnel cloud, not just some scud. But you can see out there on tower cam right now, there's even a little of that. You see where the gray is? Let's take that full real quick, and maybe can you put me over that real quick? I'll show you. Let me step out real quick. Maybe you can punch that back in. So what we're looking at here are some clouds that are hanging down under the main mass of clouds. So right here, you see these little sort of scattered, just scraggly clouds. Those are called scud. And sometimes they will actually begin to move around the storm, but not in a tight funnel shape. And so we don't worry too much about those. Now, if you see a wall cloud, there's a difference between a wall cloud and a shelf cloud. They both look pretty scary. The shelf cloud is on the front of the storm, and it actually is where you're pushing some air out ahead of the actual thunderstorm, and it will look like it has a ragged edge on it and kind of a wall coming through. When you see that on the back side of the storm, those are the ones we worry about. Those are called wall clouds, and those are the kind that often appear before you start getting some rotation in the storms. So back to the warnings we go. Here is Franklin County. Let's put the timer on that again real quick and see where we are with this. There is a chance that they may let this expire. Right now, it's set to expire in about a minute and a half. The storm that's on the east side of Franklin County also set to expire at about 4:30. So we are still looking at a good chance for these to expire. So what we have right now, some very heavy rain showing up near downtown. That looks like, is that the Lazarus building? Yeah. Yep. Oh, look at the, is that High? That'll be High Street. No, that's Front Street. So what you're looking at there looks like some very, very good standing water in the streets right there. And so some of the rain has been heavy enough to create some localized urban flooding. Most of that should be able to dissipate in the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. Shouldn't last very long. But we still have the potential for some rotation, and that's why the tornado warnings are still in effect for the next few seconds here in Franklin County. I just heard a brand new siren, so let's get zoomed out on that, see where they've added that new siren, or if that is an update for when they're going to let this expire. Not seeing any other tornado warnings in the area. It's just Franklin County right now. So the good news is this storm does appear to be weakening a little bit, and as long as it continues to do that, they will let this expire, and we will then be finished with this for now. But on the east side of Columbus and the east side of Ohio, we're still going to keep an eye on that. Danielle, tell me again where that is. Oh. That is a picture from our very own former colleague, Caroline Cohen, who is on her way back to Cincinnati and has been sending us pictures from the car. She is headed back towards Cincinnati. Thank you for that, Caroline. We appreciate it. In the meantime, we're watching the tornado warning for parts of Franklin County that will continue at least until 4:30. Oh, thank you. I just dropped the lens out of my glasses. That happens. So as this continues to weaken, there's a good chance that this tornado warning will be allowed to expire in the next few minutes, and we will be then tracking these storms into the eastern part of the state. Let me back out. That's what it looks like in parts of... There we go. The tornado warning allowed to expire now for Franklin County, and that's going to be both the one for the city as well as the one on the east side. But that doesn't mean we're finished. What that means is that the storms are not showing rotation at the moment, but we still have some very strong storms moving over into parts of just a little bit of Fairfield County here and then on up into Licking County. You see the box happening right there. That's the orange box. The orange box is for a severe thunderstorm warning warning that includes Licking County on up into Johnstown and Utica, as well as Newark and Granville, and that is because these strong storms are continuing to move in. So tornado warnings have been allowed to expire at this point. We're going to go back to regular programming for a little bit, and we'll come back with a full update at 5 o'clock. If any more warnings begin to show up, we will be back to guide you through those as soon as they happen.